Hello students, good evening. Welcome back to our lecture on percentages. So in our last class we have discussed about interest, that is the concept of money which is not free to borrow. So in case if you are borrowing money, then you need to repay more than what you have borrowed. This is all the concept of interest tells us. And also we have learned what is meant by simple interest, that is the amount accrued every year. I mean the additional amount what we need to pay back would be the same every year in case of simple interest. Whereas if in case even there would be interest on the interest that needs to be paid, okay, then the concept is known as compound interest, means the interest will get compounding, that is the interest also will get adding up. So that concept we'll call it as compound interest. So in our last class we have also discussed briefly about compound interest. So today's agenda of our class is again to learn more in detail about compound interest. These two play a very prominent role, especially in calculating these interest, and any financier or any financial institutions, the basic tool is to calculate the interest. So these tools are very inevitable. So the formulas, basic formulas involving the simple interest and compound interest, you need to know. A student is expected to know them thoroughly and understand these concepts. Okay, not just that, even if you look at any competitive exams, any aptitude related exams, you can't go away without finding questions related to this profit loss, simple interest, compound interest. At least you will find 2 to 3 questions in each and every competitive exam. So please take these topics very seriously. Well, let's go with the today's topic, that is learning more in detail about the compound interest. So first of all, why do we need to borrow money? What is the essence of borrowing money? See, you may want to buy something you like, okay, paying it back will end up costing you more though, right? Suppose if you want to buy something you like and you don't have money, so you feel like borrowing money. But what happens when you try to borrow money? When repaying back you need to pay something extra, right? So paying it back will end up costing you more than what you have borrowed. But a business may be able to use the money to make even more money, right? But a business may be able to use the money to make even more money. For example, let's look at this. Say chicken business. You borrow $1,000 to start a chicken business, to buy chicks, chicken food, and so on. Okay, you have borrowed $1,000. For what purpose? To start a chicken business. Now a year later you sell all the grown chickens for $1,200. A year later you sell all the grown chickens for $1,200. Now you pay back the bank $1,100. Say the bank is lending you money at the rate of 10% interest. Then at the end of 1 year you need to pay back the original amount plus the interest 10%. So it amounts to $1,100, right? And you are left with $100 profit. Okay students, so and you used someone else's money to do it, and in this process you have also gained $100 profit, because $1,100 you need to pay back to the bank and still you are left with $100 profit. And for all this you have used others' money, right? So that is where borrowing helps. So if you know you will be able to make more money than what you are borrowing, then the borrowing makes sense. But be careful, what if you only sold the chickens for $800? The bank still wants $1,100, right? So and you end up with a $300 loss. So also there is involved a loss factor. So you need to be very careful. Unless you are very sure that you will be making up more money than the expected money to be paid back, okay, then it doesn't make any sense to borrow money, okay, and you will end up, okay, in hefty problems. So investment, compound interest can work for you. Look at this. Investment is when you put money where it can grow. Investment is when you put money where it can grow, such as a bank or a business. If you invest your money at a good interest rate, it can grow very nicely. money keeps growing because of the added interest, right? So always you need to think of an investment opportunities where money keeps growing, like such as a bank or a business. Say this is what 15%. Say suppose you don't find practically anything like 15% interest. Okay, these are very rare and exceptional cases. Unless for a startups you will not find even more than 10% interest. Okay, now say suppose 15% interest on $1,000, what it can do. See, initially, say let us take year 0, that is right now. Say we have taken a loan at the starting for $1,000. Okay, students. So 15% interest would amount to $150, right? So at the end of the first year, how much you need to pay? The original $1,000 what you have borrowed, plus you need to add the interest. What is the interest amount? That is $150. So it amounts to $1,150. Okay, students. I think your 0 is missing. Now, next, what happens in the year 1? In the year 1, the loan whatever you need to pay is $1,150, right? This is you need to pay, but you haven't paid, suppose. Now, at the end of the first year again, this is at the end of the first year. Now, at the end of the second year, what will happen? That is, again, there would be 15% interest, and 15% interest would be calculated on the total loan amount. Total amount that needs to be repaid. It is not the only on the original $1,000 which you have borrowed. The interest would be calculated on the entire thing, means the original amount what you have borrowed and the interest you need to repay but you haven't paid yet. That is, the interest is $1,150. I mean, if you add the interest, the amount you need to pay is $1,150. Okay, so on top of this 15%, so interest would get added up. Here if you will calculate, you will get $172.5. Okay, so now this gets accrued, and the loan at the end of the second year you will find it as $1,322. Okay, students. So similarly, if you will try to do this, keep doing this, at the end of the third year you will find the interest amounts to $198, 198.38, and the total amount that needs to be repaid or the loan at the end is $1,520. Similarly, at the end of the fourth year, you will find the interest would become $262 because the loan period is loan amount is getting increased. So the interest also proportionally it keeps increasing, it keeps compounding. So the loan at the end of 4 years, okay, at the end of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4th year. This is at the end of the 4th year, you will find interest to be 1749. And similarly, at the end of 5th year, the interest you will find as $2,011, the total amount that needs to be repaid. Means, observe that you have borrowed $1,000 and at the end of 5 years, exactly the loan amount what you need to repay back, it has been doubled, more than doubled, right? 1,000 you have borrowed and now you need to pay more than 2,000. So in 5 years, your investment amount is doubling. So such type of an investment opportunities are very good because your money is doubling in no time. So always you need to look out for investment opportunities where money keeps growing. Say if we look the same thing graphically, say initially you started up with $1,000. This is the amount. So initially $1,000, and then with the added interest at the end of 1 year, okay, it amounts to $1,150. At the end of 2 years, this is the amount you need to pay. So if you look at this, see in exactly in 5 years period, the amount that needs to be repaid is doubling. Initially it is 1,000. In the period of 5 years, the amount has doubled. That the amount that needs to be repaid. Okay, students. So what if you don't have $1,000? Here is what saving 200 every year for 10 years at and 10% interest can do. That is, okay, give me a moment. See, what can we think is, see, maybe you don't have $1,000. Okay, then here is what saving $200 every year for 10 years at 10% interest can do. Uh, Let me stop this. Okay. What is meant by saving $200 every year for 10 years? So initially you will be saving $200 for 1 year. Say initially, say this is the time period. Say initially means let's take t is equal to 0. Okay. We have saved $200. And then at 10% interest, at 10% interest, what it would happen? At 10% interest, see, what is the 10% of this? 10% of this is going to be 10 by 100 times 200. Okay, students. So 100 twos, so this is going to be 20. So at 10% interest, what would happen is this $200 would become 20 more. So at the end of, at t is equal to 1, the amount would become $220. And then you are saving $200 every year. So that means even at the end of 1 year, say you are putting up 200 more. Then means at the end of first year, you will be having $420 in your kitty bank. Okay, or you are saving in the bank. And then at the end of second year, what will happen? Again, there would be 10% interest going up on this. Okay, students. So 10% of this would be 42. So if you will add that, so at the end of the second year, you will find the along with the added interest, this grows to 462. And you will pumping in more $200 because you are trying to save 200 every year. If you will save 200 every year, this becomes 662. Okay, students. So in this way, initially, so every year, at the end of every year, if you try to save $200 in a bank, see what is happening. Exactly in 10 years time, this is becoming $3,506 after 10 years. Just for 10 years of $200 each year, means just by simply saving $200 per year. Okay, in normal terms, if you look at this 10 years, $200, it would become $2,000. But since you are doing it recurringly every month, this money keep adding up because of the added interest. Okay, the interest gets compounded. So it would be 3,506. So 200 may look small amount, but you know, if you'll invest it regularly, if you'll save regularly, and at the end of the 10 years, you'll find $3,506. So that is a huge amount again. Okay, so in case if you don't have $1,000 also, just a small amount, you could save it recurringly, and you'll find its advantages. I mean, there are many advantages which you can use them at the later stage. Less than 1 year. Say interest is not always charged yearly. See, till now we have discussed that interest is 10% interest per year or 15% interest per year. But interest is not necessarily charged every, it is yearly basis. It could be charged on a semi-annually, that is a 6 months basis, or it could be charged monthly basis, or it could be charged 3 months basis. It could be charged on a daily basis as well. It depends on the lender and the borrower, the terms whatever they have agreed on. So it can be charged semi-annually, every 6 months, monthly, even daily. But the same rules apply. For simple interest, work out the interest for one period. Okay, work out the interest for one period. What is the interest? Interest is given by the principal amount into time period into rate, the percentage rate of interest. And since the rate will express it as a percentage, that is per 100. So this is going to be the formula for simple interest, which we have discussed in a previous class. Now, this is a simple interest for one period, okay? and T I have multiplied that is the time period, the number of periods. So for one period, interest is given by principal into rate upon 100. If there are T number of periods, you will simply multiply by T. This is how simple interest is calculated. For compound interest, what happens is, work out the interest for the first period, add it on to the principal amount, and then keep calculating the interest for the next period. So repeat this procedure. Okay, students. So this is all we have learned in summary. So now let's look at what is compound interest exactly and how do we derive the expression. I mean the formula to calculate the interest, compound interest. So with compound interest, you work out the interest for the first period, add it to the total, and then calculate the interest for the next period, and then again add this interest to the total, so on. So the difference between the simple interest and the compound interest is, in the simple interest, the interest, okay, the interest will keep adding, that amount is the same. Whereas in compound interest, for the subsequent years, we will be even calculating the interest on the interest that needs to be repaid. That is the difference. So for that reason, with the use of compound interest, okay, the money keeps growing more as compared to simple interest. Suppose if you have borrowed $1,000 at 10% interest, so the interest rate is going to be $1,000. So if you add up this, you will be, okay, you have a loan of $1,100 and then again 10% on this. So it would be $110. So it would become $1,210 and then $1,331 and so on. So this process keeps continuing. So it grows faster and faster in this way. Something. Okay, students. So whenever a curve is something looks like this, we'll call it as an exponential. Exponential in nature. You will be learning more about the graphs at the later stage. But whenever the graph increases like this upward, like an upward parabola, okay, we'll call this as an exponential in nature. So all the exponential means they keeps growing, increasing. And then here are the calculations. Again, these things we have repeatedly done. We have discussed this, so I will not be discussing here anymore. Okay, so loan at the start is this much, and then at 10% interest, this is going to be the interest. This is the loan at the end. Now at the end of first year, you will be calculating the loan on this amount. Means here you are calculating the interest even on the added interest that needs to be repaid. So it is going to be 110. If you add this, you will be getting 1210, so on. So the money keeps increasing rapidly. So these calculations are done one step at a time, right? So calculate the interest, that is the loan at the start, into interest rate. How do you calculate the interest? The calculation of interest is the same way you have done with the simple interest as well. You look at the principal amount what you have borrowed, that is the loan at the start, and then you know the rate of interest, at what rate you have borrowed the money, so multiply by the interest rate, loan at the start into interest rate. So add the interest to the loan at the start, so this would give you the interest amount. Okay, now add this interest amount to the principal amount, so you will be getting the total amount that needs to be repaid. Okay, students. So add the interest to the loan at the start to get the loan at the end of the year. So the loan at the end of the year is the loan at the start of the next year. So a simple job with the lots of calculations, but there are quicker ways using some clever mathematics. Let's look at that. Let's make a formula. Just looking at the first year to begin. See, initial principal amount is $1,000, and what is the interest amount? Interest is calculated on the principal amount only. Say suppose the rate of interest is 10%, the interest is the rate of interest times the principal amount. So that is going to be 10% of 1,000, so it gives you $100. So if you add these two, you will be getting $1,100. Okay, students. Now again, I think you are quite familiar with this because we are discussing the same terms again and again. Now we are going to derive the formula. Just concentrate on these terms very keenly. So this is the loan at the start period, that is the $1,000, and then there is an interest, that is $100. How did you calculate the interest? we have calculated the interest on the principal amount at the rate of interest 10%. So 1000 times 1, we can write this as 1000 times 10%. 10% means 10%, that is 10 by 100. So this is going to be 0.1 in decimal form. Okay, students. So we can write this as 1000 into 1 plus 1000 into 0.1. Now the same thing. Now you can see 1000 as common in both the terms. So let's take $1000 outside. So then we'll be left with 1 plus 0.1. Here this is the distributive property. Distributive property of the numbers. What we are doing is, here pick the 1000 outside. Distributive property means whenever you'll have something like this, A times B plus C is equal to A times B plus A times C. So here A times B plus A times C, I am taking A as common. Okay, so if you'll take out common, this would become 1 plus 0.10, and 1 plus 0.10 is 1.1. Okay, so this expression, simply this entire expression we can write in simple terms like this: 1000 times 1000 multiplied by 1.1 factor. Okay, students. Now, so adding 10% interest is the same as multiplying by how much? 1.10, students. See, look at this. Adding 10% interest. Okay, if you have calculated that, if you have simplified, this is same as multiplying by 1.10. That is so simple, as simply multiplying by 1.10 would give you the same thing. So adding 10%, that is nothing but multiplying by 1.10. You need to understand these difference. I mean the correlation between these two. So this one, see. So $1000 plus the interest. Okay, 10% interest, that is equivalent to this one. So it is same as multiplying the principal amount by this factor 1.10. Still you would get the same answer. So both are equal. Okay, so in case still if you are having any doubt, please refer to our previous slide. Okay, so get this point very clear. Adding the interest of 10%, it is equivalent to multiplying by 1.10. Now, so note, the interest rate was turned into a decimal by dividing by 100, because interest, that is rate of interest, that is per 100. So read percentage to learn more. Okay, because we have discussed all this, how to convert the rate percent in terms of decimals we have discussed. So but in practice, just move the decimal point 2 places.